Hello, Oscar. I hope you're okay. I think you were a bit poorly this weekend after your first week at school, so I hope you soon feel better and you have a great week hopefully back at school again, and have a good time. So Granny and Grandpa would look forward to hearing all about your being in grade 1. I'm sure it's very exciting. I know it's probably a little bit harder than last year, but you can do it. You're a really clever boy, and I know Mummy and Daddy will be there rooting for you. So good luck with it. And it's hello from Moosey. Moosey said, didn't you, Moosey? You said, yep. You would like to say hello today. And so there's Moosey. Moosey saying, hello, Oscar. Hello. And Moosey's been really very good, haven't you, Moosey? Yep, I've been very good. Yeah, I have. And he's going to sit and watch now while I read. And Granny sent her love as well. So I thought you'd like a little bit more from the Wild Wolf Pup story. And do you remember the Wild Wolf Pup's name is now Shadow? And Shadow said he liked that. And Zoe and Lucy, her mum, were going off to the pelican enclosure, and there's a picture of Zoe with the Wild Wolf Pup. So we just started chapter 5, Shadow's New Home. That's good. And there's little Zoe and little Wild Wolf Pup. Wow. So cute. Before Zoe could think of an excuse, her mum chuckled. Silly me, she said, shaking her head. Can you imagine you and the wolf pup having a conversation? As she left again, Zoe let out a sigh of relief. That was close, whispered Meep. I know, admitted Zoe. I'd better be more careful, Meep. Because, Oscar, you know that Lucy, Zoe's mum, doesn't know that Zoe's got the special gift of talking to animals. That's really special. So once Lucy had given the pelican a check-up and some more medicine, they were ready to take the pup to the new grey wolf enclosure. Can I carry him? Zoe asked hopefully. Of course, replied Great Uncle Horace, and helped her pick the little wolf up. Zoe kept one arm securely around his body so that he didn't fall, but made sure he could sit upright and see everything around him. This was going to be Shadow's first view of the zoo, and she knew he would want to get a good look. As they walked through the zoo, lots of animals peered curiously over the fences of their own enclosures to have a look at the new arrival and to call out a friendly greeting. The pup was very excited to see so many faces and wriggled eagerly in Zoe's arms, wagging his tail and letting out little barks and louder, longer howls. Can you do that howl, Oscar? Can you howl? Ooh. She had to concentrate to make sure she didn't drop him. There they all are, look. There they are, walking past all the animals' enclosures. There's the elephant there, isn't it? And I think, what else is there? Ooh, I don't know what that is. Oh, I think it's an anteater, maybe. Anyway. Oh, I've thought of a name for the wolf pup, Zoe told her mum and Great Uncle Horace, smiling at Meep. Shadow. Excellent, replied Great Uncle Horace, and a rather mysterious, spooky-sounding name too, which I think suits a wolf perfectly. Years ago, people were rather frightened of wolves, you know, Zoe. That's why they were often the wicked character in fairy tales, like Red Riding Hood. He shook his head. To look at this adorable little chap, it's hard to believe, isn't it? But sadly, grey wolves were almost hunted to extinction at one point. That's awful, said Zoe, cuddling Shadow even tighter. How could anyone have been afraid of something as gorgeous as this? It's a pity Shadow won't have any other wolves to live with, said Lucy. Wolves always form packs and they're very social creatures. I'm worried that Shadow might find it very lonely here without any companions. Great Uncle Horace nodded. Yes, I've been thinking the very same thing. Don't worry, my dear. I do have a plan. I can't say any more just yet, though. I wonder what that plan is, Oscar. Zoe and Lucy glanced at each other. He was being very mysterious. They soon arrived at the enclosure. It was designed to look like a beautiful sprawling wood full of tall trees with reddish-brown cones hanging from their branches. These are Sitka spruce trees, Great Uncle Horace explained. They're the most important tree found in Alaska. You know where Alaska is, don't you, Oscar? So hopefully they will help Shadow to feel at home. Zoe breathed in deeply as they stepped inside. She thought it smelled amazing in the enclosure, fresh and piney like being inside a real forest. Shadow seemed to like it too. His ears were pricked up and he was sniffing the air eagerly. Zoe placed him gently on the ground and straight away he started dashing around, exploring. Just then the wolf keeper, Ethan, arrived. "Hello everyone," he called, waving. "I've been so looking forward to meeting this little fellow. Wow, look how cute he is. Does he have a name yet?" "He's called Shadow," Zoe told him. "Well, I hope Shadow likes his new home," said Ethan. "I brought him a little welcome present too." He held up a red bouncy ball, which he rolled gently across the ground towards Shadow. The little pup gave it a curious sniff, patted it with his paws, then he leapt on it excitedly, howling and barking. Meep, who had been sitting on the floor of the enclosure, had to scuttle quickly out of the way. He ran up Zoe's leg and up onto her shoulder, as Shadow raced after the ball, leaping into the air and pouncing on it over and over again. There we are, look. There's the little wolf pup, Shadow, chasing after the ball. That reminds me of playing in our garden, doesn't it, Oscar? Everybody chasing after the ball. You, Annabelle, Daddy, and everybody. Mummy as well, pushing little Annabelle along. "Don't worry, Meat," Zoe whispered with a smile. "He's just playing." "I think he likes that game," chuckled Great Uncle Horace, as they all watched Shadow playing boisterously. In fact, Shadow liked the ball a little bit too much. Can you guess what happened, Oscar? He chased it around the enclosure, butting it with his head and snapping at it playfully with his white teeth until there was a pop. Shadow had burst it. Little pup looked at the crumpled plastic, puzzled, and gave a sad little whine. Zoe quickly ran over to him and whispered, "Don't worry, Shadow. We'll get you another one." Just then Lucy called, "Zoe, I think it's time we went home and had tea. Let's leave Shadow to get settled in. He's had a long day." "Can't I stay a bit longer, Mum?" asked Zoe, hopefully. She wasn't ready to leave Shadow yet, and before she did, she wanted to ask him if he really liked his new enclosure. Lucy smiled. "5 more minutes then. You can always come back to visit him after school tomorrow, remember." While Lucy and Ethan chatted, Zoe crouched down next to Shadow. "What do you think of your enclosure?" she whispered. "Do you like it?" Shadow wagged his tail and gave a happy yap. The little pup loved his new home. "We're going to have lots of fun together," Zoe told him, smiling. "Meep and I will come back to play tomorrow." Zoe gave Shadow one last cuddle, said goodbye to Great Uncle Horace and Ethan, and then left the enclosure with her mum and Meep. As they walked down the path back to the cottage, they heard a howl coming from behind them. "Woo, woo!" Can you do that, Oscar? Hope you're not scaring the neighbours. "That's Shadow. He's howling again," said Zoe. She listened carefully, trying to work out whether the noise sounded sad or frightened. "Do you think he's okay, Mum?" she asked anxiously. "I think so, Zoe. He certainly seemed happy, didn't he?" said Lucy. "Remember, a wolf doesn't only howl because it's unhappy. Animals make noises for lots of different reasons. They might be trying to communicate with other animals. They might be hungry or warning off enemies or just feeling content. Sometimes I wish I could talk to animals, Zoe. It would be amazing to be able to ask them exactly what they're thinking." Zoe and Meep exchanged a glance. "I can talk to animals," thought Zoe. "As soon as I can speak to Shadow with no one else around, I'll ask why he's howling." Later that night, Zoe and Meep were in her bedroom, and Zoe was getting ready for bed. She brushed her teeth, put on her giraffe pattern pyjamas, and went to switch off her bedroom light. As she walked past her desk, she glanced at the calendar pinned up on her notice board and sighed. "What's wrong, Zoe?" chattered Meep. "There are only 2 days left until the Halloween spooktacular, Meep," she said, "and I still don't have a costume idea." Suddenly Zoe's eyes lit up. Hang on, maybe I do, Meep. I could dress up as a wolf like Shadow. That's a great idea, Meep replied. Then maybe next year you can go as a mouse lemur. I don't know about that, Oscar. Look, there's Zoe and Meep talking about dressing up. They both giggled. Maybe, said Zoe, but for now I bet Shadow would love it if I dressed up like him. We can ask him when we go back to play again tomorrow. I'm not sure I want to play with Shadow, Zoe, admitted Meep. I like him a lot, but he's a bit wild. He popped his new ball, and I nearly got squashed when he was chasing me earlier. I think I'm too little for games like that, he said, his eyes wide. Oh, Meep, Shadow's used to playing with the other wolves in his pack, Zoe reminded her little friend. He might not know how to play gently, and he was extra excited today. I'm sure he'll settle down soon, though. I hope so, chirped Meep. Zoe scooped her little friend up for a cuddle. Don't worry, Meep, we just need to be patient with Shadow, she told him. Remember how strange and different things must be for him. He's probably feeling a little nervous about moving to a new home. Being nervous can make you act strangely sometimes. Yeah, it does, doesn't it, Oscar? Do you feel nervous sometimes? Perhaps, going to your new classroom or something like that is only natural, and you'll soon get used to it. And I'm sure that your teachers are lovely, and you're making some new friends as well. So what do you mean? Asked Meek, puzzled. Zoe thought, well, a new boy, Dan, started in my class last year. He moved here from a different school and he didn't know anybody. But instead of being friendly, he was really rude to everyone. But once he settled in and got to know everyone, he was really nice. He just acted like that because he was nervous. As she spoke, Zoe realised something else. And being nervous about the Halloween concert has been making me feel a bit funny too, she said. Whenever I think about singing in front of the crowd, my tummy ties up in knots and my knees feel shaky. She sighed, and I just don't know how I'll be able to do it. I think you'll be really good, Zoe, said Meep. Maybe you just need a bit more practice. Why don't you have a go now? Pretend that I'm in the audience. Zoe thought that was a good idea. She'd only be singing in front of Meep. After all, her best friend in the whole world. She took a deep breath and tried to sing the first line of the song. Spiders and slugs creeping on the wall. But even now, Zoe couldn't do it. Her throat felt dry and sore, and her voice sounded hoarse and scratchy. She stopped, shaking her head sadly. I just keep picturing a huge crowd of people all pointing at me and laughing, she said. I know that must sound really silly, but I can't help it. Meep leapt into Zoe's arms and gave her a cuddle. He nuzzled his head against her. It will be okay, Zoe. We'll think of something, he chirped helpfully. Zoe smiled and nodded, but deep down she wasn't sure. There we are, Oscar. And next time, look, we're going to have chapter 6. Do you see the picture of the Shadow, the little wild wolf pup? He's rather sweet, isn't he? It's going to be chapter 6 next time. Some exciting news. Whoa. Well, Oscar, I've loved reading to you today, and lots of love from Granny. So lots of love from Granny and Grandpa. And big hugs to you all, and kisses for you and your little sister Annabelle. And Mummy and Daddy too. That would be nice, wouldn't it? So I hope you are okay and feeling a bit better. And it's been lovely talking to you today. So I'm going to say bye-bye for now. And there's somebody here who wants to say bye-bye to you as well. Moosey can go, Moosey go bye-bye. Bye-bye, Moosey, is that right? Yep. Is that okay? You all right? Yep, go. Okay, we say goodbye now. Okay then, so both of us will say bye-bye, Oscar, from Granny, Grandpa and Moosey. Bye for now. Bye.